No one ever knew about this secret. That it is now coming out so much later, around 2025, surprises everyone. For decades, the world believed in the enchanting love story of Prince Charles and Princess Diana. From the moment they announced their engagement to the grandeur of their royal wedding, theirs was a union that appeared to be the stuff of fairy tales. But behind the lavish ceremonies, glittering jewels, and global adoration lay a far more complex and heartbreaking reality, one marked by betrayal, secrecy, and emotional isolation. The love between Camilla and Charles blossomed while Diana and Charles were still engaged. In 1993, there was even the tampon-gate story, where a phone conversation was leaked, in which Charles joked to Camilla where he said he would like to be reincarnated as her tampon, while he was still with Diana. Yes, that really happened. Charles and Diana's marriage was far from the perfect image the public saw. Instead, it became a cautionary tale of unmet expectations, public scrutiny, and hidden infidelities. The most significant crack in this union came from Charles's enduring relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, a relationship that not only predated his marriage to Diana, but continued throughout it, casting a long shadow over their lives together. Diana herself revealed in a candid interview with the BBC, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." These words would become emblematic of the emotional toll Charles's secret betrayal had taken on her. This script delves into the layers of their relationship, peeling back the public image to uncover the hidden truths of their troubled union. It explores how Charles's unresolved feelings for Camilla contributed to the collapse of his marriage to Diana and the lasting consequences of this betrayal. As we revisit the story, we will see how the events of their lives shaped not just the British royal family, but also the global perception of love, loyalty, and royalty. Stay with us as we uncover King Charles's secret betrayal of Diana, finally bringing to light the truths that defined their marriage. The story of Charles and Diana began like a romantic dream, but was riddled with warning signs from the outset. In 1977, a young lady, Diana Spencer, just 16 years old, met Prince Charles for the first time. At the time, Charles was courting her older sister, Lady Sarah Spencer, but it was Diana's youthful charm and natural sincerity that left a lasting impression on him. While Diana admired Charles from afar, it would take a few more years before their paths truly crossed again. By 1980, their courtship began in earnest. Charles, still reeling from the assassination of his mentor and great-uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten, found solace in Diana's kindness. She offered him emotional support during this difficult time, and their bond deepened. Despite their 13-year age gap, they found common interests that seemed to bridge their differences. Both appreciated the arts, particularly ballet and opera, and shared a love for outdoor pursuits like horseback riding. Diana's youthful energy and cheerful demeanor balanced Charles's more reserved and introspective nature, at least in the beginning. Their relationship, however, was far from typical. Much of their courtship unfolded over the phone, with only 13 in-person meetings before Charles proposed in February 1981. The proposal itself lacked warmth and spontaneity, reflecting the underlying issues in their relationship. Diana accepted seeing the engagement as a fulfillment of her dreams of becoming a princess. However, Charles's infamous response during their engagement interview, when asked if they were in love, betrayed a lack of emotional connection. While Diana enthusiastically declared, "Of course we are," Charles responded with a detached, "Whatever love means." These words would haunt Diana and foreshadow the struggles to come. Their engagement was met with overwhelming public enthusiasm. The media painted them as the perfect royal couple, and Diana's charm and beauty captivated millions. But behind closed doors, Diana already felt uneasy. The couple's differences, both in personality and expectations, were becoming increasingly evident. Charles, accustomed to the formalities of royal life, approached their relationship with a sense of duty rather than passion. Diana, on the other hand, sought emotional connection and security, which Charles struggled to provide. The world watched on July 29, 1981, as Charles and Diana married in a grand ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral. Dubbed the Wedding of the Century, the event was televised to an audience of 750 million people worldwide. Diana, only 20 years old, seemed to embody the image of a fairy tale princess. Her radiant smile and iconic wedding gown captured hearts around the globe. Yet, even on their wedding day, hints of trouble lingered. Diana reportedly felt uneasy, later admitting that she knew Charles was still emotionally tied to Camilla Parker Bowles. What appeared to be the beginning of a classic fairy tale was, in reality, the start of a marriage fraught with hidden challenges. Charles's unresolved feelings for Camilla, combined with Diana's longing for love and validation, would soon lead their relationship down a tragic path. Their union may have started with the promise of happily ever after, but it was destined to become one of the most sensational and heartbreaking royal stories in history. At first glance, the early years of Charles and Diana's marriage seemed full of promise. The birth of their sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, brought moments of joy that hinted at the possibility of a happy family life. However, beneath the surface, the couple's relationship was already showing signs of strain, amplified by the pressures of royal duties, relentless media scrutiny, and lingering emotional rifts. In June 1982, Diana gave birth to their first son, Prince William. It was a moment of great happiness for the couple and a rare instance of closeness between Charles and Diana. Breaking royal tradition, Charles chose to be present in the delivery room at St. Mary's Hospital in London. His support during the pregnancy and the birth was a significant gesture, showing his willingness to defy expectations for the sake of his growing family. For Diana, William's birth marked a turning point. She found relief in motherhood, a role that allowed her to focus on something other than the overwhelming pressures of royal life. As a young mother, Diana was determined to break away from the rigid parenting norms of the monarchy. She aimed to create a warm and nurturing environment for her son, which she felt had been absent in Charles's own upbringing. Despite these moments of connection, Diana's postnatal depression clouded what should have been a joyful time. The condition left her feeling emotionally fragile and vulnerable, and her struggles were dismissed by some within the royal family who labeled her as unstable and mentally unbalanced. This lack of understanding only deepened her sense of isolation. The arrival of their second son, Prince Harry, 2 years later, brought both joy and fresh challenges. Diana hoped that Harry's birth would help strengthen her marriage to Charles, but instead, it seemed to widen the emotional gulf between them. Unlike his involvement during William's birth, Charles's reaction to Harry's arrival was notably muted. Reports suggest he had hoped for a girl, and even made disparaging comments about Harry's red hair. For Diana, these remarks were deeply hurtful and reinforced her feelings of emotional neglect. Charles's disappointment in Harry's birth reflected not just his personal preferences, but also his struggle to connect with Diana on an emotional level. While Diana continued to devote herself to her children, Charles remained distant, consumed by royal obligations and his enduring bond with Camilla Parker Bowles. Though the births of their sons offered fleeting moments of happiness, the cracks in Charles and Diana's marriage were becoming more visible. Diana longed for emotional intimacy and reassurance, but Charles's reserved nature and growing attachment to Camilla left her feeling abandoned. The pressures of their public roles only added to the strain, with Diana forced to maintain the appearance of a happy marriage while battling her inner turmoil. The early years of their marriage were a mix of public celebration and private pain. Diana's struggles with postnatal depression, combined with Charles's inability to provide the emotional support she craved, set the stage for the growing tensions that would soon engulf their relationship. What should have been a foundation for lasting love and partnership instead became a fragile facade, hiding the hidden betrayals that would later come to light. Charles's relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles cast a long shadow over his marriage to Diana. What was believed to be a past romance turned out to be an enduring bond that persisted throughout his union with Diana, shaping their marriage and ultimately leading to its unraveling. Camilla Shand, who later became Camilla Parker Bowles, had been a significant figure in Charles's life long before Diana entered the picture. The two had dated in the early 1970s, and Charles had even considered proposing to her. However, their relationship faced obstacles, not least of which was the royal family's disapproval of Camilla as a suitable match for the future king. Her perceived lack of aristocratic pedigree and her existing relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles led to their separation. Camilla eventually married Andrew in 1973, but her connection to Charles remained strong. Diana, initially unaware of the depth of their bond, gradually realized the extent to which Camilla remained a fixture in Charles's life. The young princess, only 20 years old at the time of her marriage, was thrust into a world where she not only had to navigate the pressures of royal life, but also contend with the emotional distance created by her husband's unresolved feelings for another woman. Diana began to notice subtle but telling signs of Charles's continued involvement with Camilla. Gifts exchanged between the two, secret phone calls, and their apparent comfort in each other's company did not escape Diana's attention. One of the most devastating discoveries came when Diana found a personalized bracelet Charles had commissioned for Camilla, engraved with the letters F and G, thought to stand for their pet names, Fred and Gladys. These incidents left Diana feeling humiliated and betrayed. Despite being the Princess of Wales and a global icon of grace and beauty, she struggled with the reality that her husband's heart belonged to someone else. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was a public humiliation that Diana was forced to endure under the ever-watchful eyes of the media and the world. Diana's suspicions eventually led to a confrontation that has since become legendary. At a party hosted by Annabelle Elliott, Diana attended the event. During the party, Diana noticed that both Charles and Camilla were missing. With her bodyguard, she searched the venue and found them seated together in the basement, talking. According to Diana, Camilla's response was curt and dismissive, essentially stating that Charles would never leave her. This encounter marked a turning point for Diana, solidifying her realization that her marriage could never recover from Charles's emotional infidelity. The true extent of Charles's betrayal became known to the public years later, but Diana endured its consequences in silence for much of her marriage. The knowledge of Camilla's ongoing presence in Charles's life took a significant toll on Diana's mental health. Her struggles with depression, self-harm, and feelings of inadequacy were compounded by the emotional neglect she experienced from her husband. While Diana remained dedicated to her public duties and her role as a mother, the private anguish of Charles's betrayal haunted her. In her 1995 BBC interview, she famously admitted, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded."
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
With these words, Diana confirmed what many had suspected, that her marriage had been overshadowed from the start by Charles's unresolved love for Camilla. By the time Diana confronted Camilla, the emotional damage was irreparable. Charles's betrayal wasn't just a matter of infidelity. It represented a deeper rejection of Diana's attempts to create a loving and supportive partnership. What had begun as a fairy tale union had disintegrated into a relationship defined by secrecy, heartbreak, and betrayal. While Charles's betrayal with Camilla Parker Bowles loomed over their marriage, it was the emotional toll on Diana that began to surface in ways the world could no longer ignore. Behind the carefully curated public appearances and radiant smile, Diana battled deep feelings of loneliness, rejection, and despair. Her struggles were further exacerbated by the suffocating pressures of royal life and Charles's emotional detachment. Ultimately, these private pains would lead Diana to publicly reveal the truth about her life and marriage. From the very beginning of her marriage, Diana felt overwhelmed by the responsibilities of royal life. At just 20 years old, she was thrust into the global spotlight, with every gesture and move scrutinized by the media. While she initially embraced her role as the new Princess of Wales, Diana soon found herself struggling to meet expectations while dealing with her own emotional vulnerabilities. The birth of Prince William in 1982 brought Diana temporary joy, but her postnatal depression left her feeling misunderstood and dismissed. Members of the royal family failed to recognize the seriousness of her condition, instead labeling her as unstable and mentally unbalanced. These judgments only deepened Diana's isolation. She later admitted to struggling with self-harm, as her mental health spiraled under the strain of her marriage and the public's unrealistic expectations. Despite her growing pain, Diana remained devoted to her role as a mother. Her hands-on approach to parenting, which defied royal traditions, became a lifeline for her. Prince William and Prince Harry were at the center of her world, providing her with purpose and joy amid her personal struggles. As Charles continued his emotional affair with Camilla, Diana sought solace outside her marriage. She formed deep connections with those who offered her understanding and emotional support, relationships that would later make headlines and add further complexity to the unraveling of her marriage. One such figure was Barry Manicky, a police officer with the Royal Protection Squad. Manicky's presence made palace life more bearable for Diana, and their bond grew so strong that she contemplated leaving everything behind to be with him. However, tragedy struck in 1987 when Barry Manicky died in a road traffic accident. While his death was ruled an accident, Diana remained suspicious, claiming in a private recording that he had been chucked out because of their relationship. Following his death, she frequently visited the site where his ashes were scattered, mourning the loss of someone who had brought her a sense of peace. Another notable relationship was with James Hewitt, a cavalry officer whom Diana met in 1986. Their relationship blossomed over horseback riding lessons and lasted 5 years, from 1986 to 1991. Hewitt himself described their relationship as a love story, admitting they exchanged love letters even while he was deployed in the Persian Gulf War. When asked about the affair in a later interview, Diana candidly acknowledged it, further shattering the illusion of a perfect royal marriage. Rumors surrounding Prince Harry's paternity also arose due to Hewitt's red hair, a trait shared by both men. However, these speculations were ultimately debunked by the timeline. Diana and Hewitt's relationship began after Harry's birth in 1984. In his memoir, Spare, Prince Harry himself addressed the rumors, blaming tabloid cruelty and emphasizing the timeline as proof of Charles's paternity. The turning point came in 1995, when Diana, feeling increasingly alienated and betrayed, chose to break her silence. In a now legendary interview with journalist Martin Bashir on the BBC's Panorama, Diana laid bare her struggles, publicly exposing Charles's betrayal and the toll it had taken on her. In the interview, Diana's vulnerability struck a chord with millions. She revealed the emotional agony of living in a marriage overshadowed by Camilla Parker Bowles, famously stating, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded."
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
Her words were a direct acknowledgement of Charles's infidelity, something that had long been whispered about, but never confirmed. Diana also spoke of her own struggles with mental health, self-worth, and the loneliness she experienced as a member of the royal family. She admitted to feeling as though she had never been truly loved or accepted by Charles. The interview shattered the royal family's long-standing tradition of silence and stoicism, offering the world an unprecedented glimpse into the private turmoil of a princess. The impact of Diana's revelations was immediate and immense. In the UK alone, nearly 23 million viewers watched the interview, with an estimated 200 million tuning in worldwide. The interview not only confirmed Charles's betrayal, but also painted Diana as a woman fighting for her voice and identity amid betrayal and isolation. The global response was overwhelmingly sympathetic, solidifying Diana's status as the people's princess. While Charles's relationship with Camilla and his emotional detachment drove Diana to seek comfort elsewhere, her honesty about her struggles resonated deeply with the public. Diana's willingness to share her pain stood in stark contrast to the royal family's rigid, stoic image. She emerged from the interview not as a broken woman, but as someone who had reclaimed her voice, exposing the truth behind the fairy tale facade. The BBC interview marked a critical moment in Diana's life. By speaking her truth, she laid bare the betrayal and heartbreak that defined her marriage, turning the world's sympathy firmly in her favor. However, it also signaled the beginning of the end for her union with Charles. The public revelations about Prince Charles's betrayal and Diana's emotional struggles irreversibly altered the course of their marriage. The 1995 BBC interview was not only a personal catharsis for Diana, but also a moment of reckoning for the British royal family. From that point forward, the fragile facade of their marriage crumbled under the weight of public scrutiny, forcing both parties to confront the inevitability of separation and divorce. By 1992, the cracks in Charles and Diana's marriage were no longer hidden. The couple had grown emotionally and physically distant, their relationship reduced to little more than formal public appearances. That year, Prime Minister John Major announced their official separation.
It is announced from Buckingham Palace that, with regret, the Prince and Princess of Wales have decided to separate,
marking the beginning of the end for the royal couple. While Charles retreated into his royal duties and maintained his connection with Camilla Parker Bowles, Diana emerged as an independent and powerful figure in her own right. Despite their separation, the public remained deeply invested in their personal lives. Media scrutiny intensified, with every gesture, word, and rumor dissected for signs of further discord. Charles's continued relationship with Camilla was a persistent source of scandal, casting him as the betrayer in the eyes of the public. Meanwhile, Diana's vulnerability and candor earned her widespread admiration. She became a symbol of resilience, turning her pain into purpose through humanitarian work and her devotion to her children, Prince William and Prince Harry. Following Diana's explosive BBC interview in 1995, which openly exposed Charles's infidelity and her own struggles, the royal family faced unprecedented backlash. The interview's worldwide impact, combined with the global sympathy for Diana, placed immense pressure on the monarchy to address the situation. Queen Elizabeth II, recognizing the damage to the royal institution, urged Charles and Diana to finalize their divorce. In 1996, after years of emotional estrangement and public scandal, Charles and Diana's divorce was officially finalized. The agreement granted Diana a substantial settlement, but stripped her of the title Her Royal Highness, a move that many viewed as a final slight against the woman who had won the public's heart. Despite losing her formal royal title, Diana remained the the People's Princess, a beloved figure whose humanity and openness resonated with millions. For Diana, the divorce represented both liberation and heartbreak. She was free from a marriage defined by betrayal and emotional neglect, but the scars of her experience remained. Diana continued to dedicate herself to her humanitarian efforts, using her platform to advocate for causes close to her heart, including HIV/AIDS awareness, landmine removal, and support for vulnerable children. Her commitment to helping others was a reflection of her strength and compassion, qualities that endeared her to people around the world. On August 31st, 1997, tragedy struck when Diana was killed in a car crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris. She was just 36 years old. The shocking news of her death sent waves of grief across the globe as millions mourned the loss of the woman who had become a symbol of love, humanity, and courage. In the aftermath of her death, public anger toward Charles and the royal family intensified. Many blamed the relentless media pursuit for the accident, but fresh resentment over Charles's betrayal of Diana also resurfaced. The image of the grieving young princes, William and Harry, walking behind their mother's coffin became a heartbreaking symbol of the personal cost of this tragedy. Diana's death cemented her legacy as the People's Princess, a title she had earned through her ability to connect with ordinary people on a human level. Her warmth, empathy, and openness stood in stark contrast to the stoic traditions of the monarchy, making her a beloved figure whose influence extended far beyond her royal title. While Diana's legacy grew in the wake of her death, Charles faced an uphill battle to rehabilitate his image. His continued relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, who had been widely vilified as the catalyst for his betrayal of Diana, remained a source of public resentment. In the years following Diana's death, Charles worked to soften the public perception of his relationship with Camilla, gradually reintroducing her as a figure in his life. In 2005, after decades of scandal and controversy, Charles and Camilla married in a modest civil ceremony. Queen Elizabeth II's decision not to attend the ceremony, but to host a reception afterward, was seen as a tacit gesture of approval. Camilla was given the title Duchess of Cornwall rather than Princess of Wales, out of respect for Diana's enduring legacy. Although Charles's secret betrayal of Camilla ultimately led to the collapse of his marriage to Diana, her story did not end in tragedy. Instead, Diana's ability to rise above betrayal, heartbreak, and relentless scrutiny transformed her into a global icon. Her devotion to her children, her humanitarian work, and her openness about her struggles broke down barriers and inspired millions. Diana's legacy lives on through her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, who continue to honor her memory through their charitable work and commitment to causes she championed. Her influence remains a powerful reminder of the strength it takes to endure betrayal and remain true to oneself. The fallout of Charles's betrayal was far-reaching, altering not only his marriage to Diana, but also the public's perception of the royal family. While Charles eventually found personal happiness with Camilla, the cost of his choices remains etched in history. Diana's story is one of betrayal, resilience, and redemption, a poignant reminder of the consequences of secrets kept in the shadows. The marriage of Prince Charles and Princess Diana began as a fairy tale, but ended in heartbreak, defined by betrayal and emotional distance. Charles's ongoing relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles was the central fracture, a secret Diana revealed to the world when she bravely stated, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." Despite the pain, Diana's resilience and openness transformed her into the People's Princess, beloved for her compassion and humanity. Her ability to share her struggles reshaped public perceptions of the royal family and made her a global icon. Charles's betrayal came at a cost. Diana's life was forever marked by emotional rejection and isolation. Diana's tragic death in 1997 only amplified her legacy, as her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, continue to honor her values and humanitarian spirit. Though her marriage ended in betrayal, Diana's enduring impact is a testament to the power of truth, courage, and the unwavering connection she forged with millions around the world, made her a global icon. Charles's betrayal came at a cost. Diana's life was forever marked by emotional rejection and isolation. Diana's tragic death in 1997 only amplified her legacy, as her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, continue to honor her values and humanitarian spirit. Though her marriage ended in betrayal, Diana's enduring impact is a testament to the power of truth, courage, and the unwavering connection she forged with millions around the world.